Good morning, students. Today we'll talk about the demographic profile. Demographic profile during the British period. Demographic profile, it means the profile related to population, to the people of the country. So if we talk about the condition of people in the country, first, birth rate and death rate, both were very high, nearly 48 and 40 per thousand respectively. It means 48 child were taking birth over 1000 people and 40 were dying out of 1000, and both of these are very high as we compare it with the other parts of the world or with the other countries. So this was a very big concern, and due to this there was a massive poverty in the country, very large poverty in the country, because the people, many new children were taking birth, and the people they were dying very early, so they were not able to earn a lot. So that was the reason why there was high poverty in the country. Then infant mortality rate. Again, this was very high. Infant mortality rate, it means the mortality rate of the children below the age of 1 year. It means there are a lot of children who died before the age of 1 year, that is about 32 per thousand. Then life expectancy. At that time in India, life expectancy was just 32 years. It means a lot of people died at very early age. People were not living a long life. Then we come to the literacy rate. It was very low. It was as low as 7%. So what all these aspects show, that the people was living a very miserable life. They give birth to a lot of children. They do not live a long life. They died mostly at the age of 40, 45, 50, and many are there who died at a very early age. They give birth to a lot of children, but their children do not survive. Many children got died at either before the age of 1 year, that is as infant, or after completing the age of 1 year, people get died very early. So, and when you talk about the literacy, it was only 7%. It means only the 7% people 7% was there with the women, and total it was 16%. So only 16% people of India were able to read and write. So all these shows that there was a very much large social backwardness in the country, and India need to fight with this. And when we study the difference between the literacy rate of man and woman, what it shows that there was a gender bias also in the society. So this was the demographic profile of India at the time of British. Now some important facts about the demographic profile. How the transition came in Indian demographic during British period. If we study the Indian demography, we take 1921 as the year of Great Divide. Why? Because before 1921, the circumstances was like this and worse than this. So before 1921, Indian population growth was very fluctuating. It means maybe it is increasing in one census and decreasing in another census. Many times it is increasing rapidly. Next census it was not increasing with that pace. So before 1921 there was no consistent growth in Indian population. But after 1921, what we saw that there was a continuous growth in Indian population. In every census, the population was increasing as much what it was there in the last census, and it was increasing with a very great speed. If we study the census of before 1921, what we see that the census of 1901 showed a decline of 0.04 crore in total population. In 1891, India's population was 23.83 crore. 87 crore, and in 1901 it declined to 23.83 crore. It means there was a decrease of about 4 lakh in Indian population in 10 years. If we see in 1921, there was a rise of 1.38 crore. In previous census it was decreasing with 4 lakh. Now it is increasing with 1.38 crore. Again in 1921 there was a decline of 0.07 crores. So, and if we don't have the authenticate data of the previous years, but if we go to previous years, again we will see these type of situations. But after 1921 it never declined. We always saw consistent growth in Indian population after 1921. In 1921, the population of India, which was 25.21 crore, 25.14 crore. Then in 1931 it was the rise of 2.76 crore. In 1941 there was a rise of 3.96 crore. In 1951 the rise was 4.24 crore. It means every year the population of India was increasing, and the rate of increase was also increasing. So this is how the demographic profile of India changed. Now, as the population was increasing, it creates a lot of problems because of the excessive burden of maintenance investment. As we are having a high population, we need to maintain a lot. We need to create the infrastructure. We need to create the investment for the maintenance of the population, and we need to make the growth oriented investment. As we have the large population with us, and the maintenance investment is very much necessary, and these were very high, so the growth oriented investment remains low in the country, and this is the reason why India remains much behind to the other countries which got independence with India. This high maintenance cost and the low growth oriented investment remains the feature of Indian economy, and this was the reason of the economy being backward and being stagnant. But what the important fact is that before 1951 the growth in Indian population was not alarming. It was not in a very dangerous condition. We were increasing by 2-3 crore, 4 crore per year. That was much okay. But after 1951 the growth of population was seen as the serious problem for India, and it started becoming a very big challenge for India, because the growth of the population, what growth we achieved, can be termed as the population explosion. We had a very high rate of increase, and this is because this is the reason why we are now the second largest country in the world, and very soon we will be the largest country in the world as of the population. Now if we talk about the occupational structure, what occupation people do in India at the time of independence, most of the people were engaged in agricultural activities, in the farm related activities. When we talk about the occupational structure, we study the data from 1951, because from before 1947 we do not have the reliable data. But after independence, the Indian government done the survey, and then we got an reliable data in 1951 that how the people are earning their livelihood. So when we study these data, what we find that there are nearly 73%, 72.7% people living and working in primary sector. Out of that, 50% working as peasant, 19.7% working as agricultural labor, 2.4% were engaged in agricultural activities like forestry, fisheries, animal husbandry, plantation, and 0.6% were engaged in mining. This was the primary sector. In secondary sector, 10% people working in secondary sector. Out of that 9% were in small and large scale industries and 1.1% in building and construction. If we talk about the tertiary sector, it was 17%. Out of that, 5.2% in trade and commerce, 1.4% transport, storage and communication, and 10% in other services. So what we find out that the principal source of occupation was the primary sector, which gives jobs to nearly 73% people in the country. The industries, which is a significant source of employment in other parts of the world in that time also, it was an insignificant source of employment in our country. And when we talk about the tertiary sector, there was unbalanced growth in that sector and it was not used as it can be used. So this was the occupational structure. Occupational condition was there in the country, how the people were working and earning their livelihood. If we talk about the infrastructure, it means the railways, the roads, the communication, the transportation. So what we see about the infrastructure is that railways were developed to transport finished goods from Britain to interiors of the colonial India. British introduced the railways in India. They developed the road network, they developed the communication, but whatever the infrastructure they developed with the sense of earning something from India and to give growth to British industries. So just like they introduced railway, the main objective of railway was to transport the finished goods from Britain to India, the interior areas of India, and the widening the size of market for British products, and to make it easy to export and import of finished of goods from India to Britain and Britain to India. The post and telegraph, it were developed to enhance the administrative efficiency so that the message can be sent to Britain and to the capital very easily, very early. If there are the roids in any part of India, they can send the message to other parts of India in a very less time. Roads that were also developed with the same intention to facilitate the transportation of raw materials. So this was the condition of India, the situation of India at the time of independence. Now, was there any positive effect of British rule in India? If we talk, every coin has the two sides. We have the positive sides and the negative side of everything. So if we talk about the British era, there was some positive effect also. That was the commercial outlook of farmers. Forced commercialization of agriculture gives a commercial outlook to the farmers. Farmers started thinking that yes, they can earn from agriculture. Agriculture can be done for the earning. It is not a way of subsistence. Now we have the new opportunities of employment due to the spread of railway, roadways, and the other infrastructural growth. Control on famines. There were, due to the rapid means of transport facilities, we can transport food grain to any part of India. So the famines were controlled in the British period. They give us a monetary system of exchange, the currency system. So we can pay the laborers, and we can do the large scale production as well. And with that, they made an administrative system which gives an efficient government. So these were the benefits of the positive sides, not the benefits but the positive sides of British government in India. So this was about the condition of India at the time of independence. Now at the end of the chapter, you have all the exercise being given here, the MCQs, fill in the blanks, true false, match the column, then the short question, and then the long question. You need to learn all these. These are the questions, these are the formats of questions which is being asked in the exam. So you need to go through all these and you should study all these. And in the copy, you should write the notes as all the points which are given in the book with the description of points. Just like was there the positive impact of British rule, you should write these points so that whenever you want to study, you did not to study everything in detail. The occupational structure, you should make this table in the copy. When you should make this table in the copy. Democratic profile, you should write these 4 points and the important points on these. So you should make the notes and you should go through the question answer which are given in the book. So it is for today. Next time when we meet, we start the second chapter of this book, 5-year plans in India, goals and achievements. Thank you.